I remember very well the first time I met you would have been when I was towards the end of my original show, the late night show in New York. I was very excited. Vampire Weekend's first album had come out, and it just hit me over the head in the best way. And I have very clear memories of, being nervous about I got to move out to LA. There's a lot of unknown stuff coming my way. I'm transitioning out of this job I've had for 16 years, and then your guys' album came along. And listening to those songs and walking around the Upper West Side of New York and just being so happy. I just loved the music so much, and then heard that you guys were booked to come on the show. And I was excited the way a fan would be excited, not, yes.
That's how you normally are.
Normally I'm like Mr. Burns. yes. This is rock and roll will keep those youngsters happy. Koenig, is it? Hey, is that the name? Ezra, eh? How do I know that name? Anyway, I was very happy, and you guys came on. And again, in that situation, we didn't really get to talk.
Right.
But then go through that whole Tonight Show madness, and I go on tour. Sona was with me for the tour.
Yeah.
And I forget where we were, but I heard that you guys were willing to come, and I think I know for a fact that you did Walcott.
At Radio City.
You did Walcott at Radio City, and I was so excited about that, because that's one of my favorite cuts on that album. And when you guys said, yeah, would you play Walcott with us? Everyone kept trying to talk to me about the comedy that we were going to be doing. And I was like, shut up. I'm going to be playing with Vampire Weekend. I've got to get this right. And you were like, well, yeah, but we're going to really turn you down a lot so you don't fuck it up. But anyway, that was a big deal for me.
Oh, it was very meaningful to us, too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, we're growing up. We're huge fans of yours, and you really are like our target demographic.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
You specifically, just Conan O'Brien. No, but even a guy from Boston walking around the Upper West Side. When I think about the early albums and like the imagery and how our kind of like love of the East Coast, or forget about love, just heritage, like just East Coast band.
Yeah, but also some of the references to, well, especially in Walcott, you're talking Cape Cod, and I so distinctly remember listening to that album and getting hooked on you guys, and then I've been a fan ever since, and so happy that you could come in. And I also got to hang with you, our mutual friend Rashida. We're
more than friends, but
have you met Rashida?
Right. Yes.
Mutual friend.
So you're both married to her? What's going on here?
Mutual wife.
Yeah. But I remember you guys came over once, and we sat out on the deck. We were looking at the beach. I think at the time, my wife and I and kids had this place in Carp, and you guys came by, Carpinteria, California, and it was on the water. And you guys came over and you introduced me to White Claw. I remember you and Rashida brought White Claw, and I didn't know what it was.
Was that a big mistake? You've been pounding the
we
claw.
We can't get him off.
I need my White Claw.
I've been in rehab 11 times.
Each for a different flavor.
But remember, you came up the steps.
Yeah, that's right.
It was this really small house, and you and Rashida came up the steps, and you went, we brought White Claw. And I thought, what's White Claw? And you went, try it. And I thought it was going to be, and what I remembered is, you need to drink a lot of White Claws before you get a buzz. That's what I remember, mostly.
Yeah, it's like a beer. Maybe even
lighter than a beer. I think it's
beer.
less alcohol than a beer.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember that we brought White Claw, but it's not like we drink it often. We must have. I think at the time, I was particularly interested in White Claw because that was the summer that there was this stat going around the music industry and probably the beverage industry that White Claw had outsold beer at Lollapalooza. That summer. So I think I was like, well, that's interesting. I'm like curious about it. So we must have been talking more about White Claw and I don't know. That was probably the last time we drank White Claw.
I was afraid that you did that because you thought, Rashida said, we're going to go see Conan O'Brien. You thought, oh, then we need to bring alcohol. that it was some weird Irish slam.
Oh.
Because you also brought potatoes.
Right.
And Lucky Charms.
And Lucky Charms.
Corned beef.
Pants made of burlap. And a shovel.
You know what? It was just White Claw season. And I think we just all wanted to get in on the fun.
There was that one summer that was a White Claw. They talk about Brat Summer. There was like a White Claw summer.
So what was
exactly.
it? And by the way, we are not getting any money from White Claw. What was it?
But we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Sure.
Or some free White Claw.
Yeah.
But
no, we don't want that.
Did kids like it because it had less? I think it had less
It's
alcohol.
like lightly alcoholic seltzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's low calorie. Tastes great. And also since then, there's.
And I remember you kept saying, Conan, you should really drink low calorie drinks. If you're going to stay on television. I remember that very clearly.
Yeah, that's why we brought it. I'm sure it's still huge, and there are a lot of competitors now.
Yeah.
So whether or not White Claw is still on top, I pray they are. But whether or not White Claw is still on top, they clearly tapped into a need in the marketplace, which now everybody from Topo Chico to any sparkling water you can think of has entered.
Yes. Well, I love that your interest in music expands to what will people be drinking who are in the audience. Like, that's cool. It's not just the writing and the singing and producing and the playing of the music, but you're also thinking about what are they drinking? What are they having?
No, I'm very into beverages and beverage history
and seating arrangements.
Yeah, things of that nature.
You study the seating before you play anywhere. Make sure it's just right.
Who are the ushers tonight? Is it that one guy?
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
It's got to be perfect.
I don't want him on the aisle.